say you recently got hurt at work. That's considered workers' comp. But what happens next? Will you still have a job? How will you pay your bills? Well, we're going to ask the lawyer, sponsored by Tapella Eberspacher Law Firm over in Charleston. I have attorney Dan Jones joining me now. So thanks for hanging out with us, Dan.
Thank you for having me.
I'm wishing I had met you about 5 years ago when we were going through all of this with my husband, who was on workman's comp. So let's talk a little bit about it. What do we need to do first? We've been hurt at work. What's next?
The most important thing you need to do first is tell your boss. And a lot of people believe that they've been hurt before and they've had muscle strains and they've worked through it. They think it's another type of injury and they don't tell anybody. And you have to tell your boss or your supervisor within 45 days of the day you get hurt or your claim is barred. You're absolutely done. So you don't try and work through it. If you believe you're injured, you should tell your supervisor right away.
So if you don't tell them, you're basically sunk.
You're sunk.
Ugh, that's not good. Okay, so let's say we go to our boss, we tell them, hey, I've been injured at work. Do you have to get some records? Do you have to file papers? What do you need to do?
You don't have to. They will probably steer you towards either the HR department or the insurance adjuster may contact you directly. And then depending on how hurt you are, if you need medical care right away, you should go get medical care.
Which medical care do you go to? One preferred by your doctor or one by work comp?
And it usually depends on the size of the company. A lot of bigger companies have a doctor that they will send their people to, and that's fine. You can go see that doctor, but you also absolutely have the right to choose the doctor that you want. You can go see your own doctor if that's what you want.
Okay, so what is this notice provision and why does that matter?
Well, the notice provision is what we were talking about there. You have 45 days from the date you are injured to tell your supervisor. And if you don't tell them, you're sunk. And so absolutely must tell them or it's an absolute bar to your claim.
So what kind of rights do you have being the injured party?
You have several. The first thing you get is something we call strict liability, which means you don't have to prove that the machine was not set up well or wasn't working properly. If you are injured at work doing something that the work creates a risk of injury for, you are covered by work comp. You don't have to prove negligence on the part of the employer. Now, you don't get to recover if you are intoxicated or under the influence of an illicit substance or doing something you're clearly not allowed to do, horseplay, stuff like that, but you're covered. You're also supposed to get temporary benefits while you are getting medical treatment. You're also supposed to get your medical treatment and have that paid for by the employer. And once you are done with your medical treatment, you are entitled to an award of permanent benefits, which is an award that recognizes that you're not the same worker you were before. You have permanent injury.
Right. So when do they need to get in touch with you?
As soon as possible.
Why?
Well, you want to protect your rights right away. You want to make sure that they are paying you your temporary benefits in the correct amount, because there's formulas involved for that, and you want to make sure that your medical care gets approved and you're getting the health care that you need, and you want to make sure your lawyer is there to make sure everything's getting done in the proper order.
Right. Okay, so now let's say they're injured, they can't get healed, they can't get better. Then is their job on the line, or what happens then?
Well, your employer is not allowed to terminate you while you are getting medical care. That would be a violation of public policy, and that's a different lawsuit. That's not a workers' compensation claim. That's a lawsuit if they terminate you solely because you have filed a workers' compensation claim. Now, if you get to the end of your treatment and you are still not, if you are not able to do your job, they don't have to keep your job open for you or create work for you. But while you are getting the medical care you need, you should still have a job.
Okay, well that's good to know, because accidents do happen and you want to be covered and know that you're still secure with a job.
Absolutely.
Any other advice for those people out there?
Well, just you should make sure your medical care is getting set up. You want to make sure that your doctor is in touch with either the HR department or the insurance industry or the insurance company to make sure your care is getting paid for, because the doctor wants to be paid.
Right.
And so make sure everyone is talking to everybody and keep in contact with your attorney.
All right, Dan, thanks so much. That's great advice. If you need any more information about work comp, maybe you were injured on the job and you've got a question for the firm, you can connect with them online at CILiving.tv. It's Tapella and Eberspacher sponsoring our Ask the Lawyer.